The film kicks off at night in a wooded area, where two individuals are concealing themselves. One of them detects sounds and grabs his large knife to investigate the situation. Out of the blue, they come under attack from unidentified creatures. While attempting to evade the monster, the young man, referred to as number 3, makes a run for it. Unfortunately, he gets captured by the Mogadorian commander, who seizes his necklace and promptly executes him. The young man disintegrates into dust, disappearing into the atmosphere. The commander places the necklace around his own neck alongside others, indicating that this young man isn't the first victim. Shifting focus to John Smith, also known as number 4, who is enjoying time in the ocean with his friends. That night, he goes for a swim with a girl, and suddenly his leg starts glowing, causing him to scream in pain. He also spots number 3, who warns him about an impending danger. Onlookers witness the scene and capture John's peculiar behavior, ridiculing him as an oddity. John wakes up on the shore, and Henri, a man, joins him. Number 3 and John are young individuals with extraordinary abilities, each having a guardian responsible for safeguarding them from mortal threats. Henri, acting as John's protector, notices a wound on his leg and deduces that number 3 has met his demise. In response, Henri hastily escorts John away from the coastal cottage, erasing all photographs with his friends before leaving. During their journey, John reveals that he and 8 other gifted children with superpowers fled from the planet Lorien after it fell under invasion by the Mogadorians, also known as Mog, the bald aliens seen earlier. As the Mogs have a mission to eliminate the children in sequential order, the scars on John's legs signify the unfortunate fates of numbers 1, 2, and 3. Now, John becomes the next target of the adversaries, prompting Henri to assign him a new identity and stressing the importance of staying hidden. They opt to relocate to an ancient residence in Paradise, Ohio, for safety. There, he stumbles upon a poster featuring a football celebrity named Bernie Kosar. A tiny lizard stealthily tails them to the house. Henri endeavors to erase John from social media entirely to thwart the Mogs from tracing him. Unexpectedly, they are startled by an unusual sound outside the residence. The lizard undergoes a transformation into a dog. John decides to keep the dog and names him Bernie Kosar. Initially, Henri opposes the idea, but John insists that it's just a harmless dog. Later that night, Henri covertly conceals a mysterious box within a wall clock without John's knowledge. It's a box meant for John, left by his father before his passing, but John will receive it at the appropriate time. Simultaneously, number 6 arrives at the cottage in search of John but finds no one. She opts to set it on fire, and following an explosion, the girl turns out to be resistant to fire. The next morning, John has a change of heart and insists on attending school. He pledges to keep a low profile, so Henri hands him the phone reluctantly, allowing him to go. Upon reaching the school, the dog is tagged along with him. While awaiting his class schedule, he notices Sarah, who is in the principal's office for discreetly capturing a teacher in the classroom, and he feels a connection to her. The school staff instructs Sarah to accompany John to his locker. Meanwhile, Henri attempts to call him to check on everything, but he doesn't respond. Mark and his acquaintances approach John, introducing themselves. After the bully departs, John witnesses him assaulting a nerdy boy named Sam and snatching his skateboard. John returns the skateboard to Sam, establishing a friendship. Post-school, John observes Mark once again tormenting Sam. Enraged, John seizes the ball and forcefully hurls it at one of Mark's classmates, causing him to tumble. Later on, he realizes that Sarah is displaying interest in him by discreetly photographing him from a distance. That night, John stumbles upon a website where Sarah has stored all her photos, including an album featuring pictures of him. To prevent any visibility, Henri intentionally erases all of John's pictures. Meanwhile, the Mogs learn that number 4 is still alive upon discovering the charred cottage. The following day in class, John's palms begin radiating an intensely bright beam known as lumen. Henri senses something amiss upon observing the same light in the watch and rushes to the school. In a panic, John rushes into the janitor's room and attempts to switch off the light. Henri arrives and comforts him, clarifying that the light signifies the initiation of his superpowers. Upon reaching the residence, Henri informs him that he'll become stronger and faster, emphasizing the need to master control over his abilities. Henri mentions that returning to school is off limits until he gains command over his powers. Intrigued by the newfound ability, he demonstrates it to the dog and stealthily exits the house through the window. Experimenting with his powers, he hurls a stone that surpasses the ozone layer and executes remarkably graceful jumps. Meanwhile, the Mog commander purchases various items at the grocery store and feeds them to peculiar and colossal creatures. Shifting back to John, he unexpectedly encounters Sarah on the street and takes her for a stroll, during which they observe Sam with his stepfather across the street. She invites him over for dinner, introducing him to her family. Her parents mention their daughter's keen interest in photography and suggest heading to the town's night carnival. Following the meal, they venture into her room, where he stumbles upon her scrapbook, revealing her aversion to being photographed. Regrettably, his dog unexpectedly appears outside, incessantly barking and compelling him to depart. We observe the school bully resentfully observing him as he walks away. The next day, Sam inquires about what happened to John's hands in class, but he opts not to discuss it. As Sam advises his friend to steer clear of Sarah, the pink paint Mark had set earlier explodes from their lockers. The paint tarnishes Sam's relationship with his biological father, prompting him to erupt in anger and confront the bully. John's palms light up again, but he remains composed and walks away. While cleaning up in the bathroom, the nerdy boy shares details about his real father, who had an obsession with aliens and mysteriously vanished. Sam insists that aliens have abducted his father. John notices Sarah in the school hallway but opts to steer clear of her. Meanwhile, Henri, delving into research on Sam's father, visits an old factory where Sam's father conducted experiments. There, he uncovers mysterious markings on a column and a peculiar glowing rock on the ground, referred to as a locator. Henri brings it home for further study. Simultaneously, John is in his room when he receives an invitation from Sarah to an event. During the Spring Scream Festival, Sarah discloses that she and Mark were previously a couple, and Mark intentionally exposed all his secrets to others after their breakup. The two then embark on an eerie carriage ride through the woods. Upon reaching the next location, known as Hell's Gate, Mark and his companions assault them, initiating a beating on John. Simultaneously, another friend seizes Sarah and delivers her to Mark. As Sam clandestinely observes, John is compelled to deploy his abilities. Eventually, he rescues Sarah and nearly fractures Max's arm in the process. Accompanying Sarah home, John finally shares a kiss with her. He recognizes his increased strength when he effortlessly breaks a lamppost with the palm of his hand. Visiting Sam's residence, he discloses his true origins, validating his father's beliefs. John cautions Sam against revealing this information to anyone, emphasizing the potential danger, and Sam concurs. The subsequent day, a local sheriff, later revealed to be Mark's father, shows up at John's residence, questioning him and accusing him of assaulting his son. John refutes the accusations, asserting that he was not paying attention. Henri takes pride in John's ability to adapt to his newfound powers. Shortly after, a video depicting John screaming in pain while in the ocean gains widespread attention, and Henri urges them to depart swiftly as he cannot erase it. Despite his newfound affection for Sarah, John disobeys and refuses to leave. This leads to a disagreement and a brief scuffle with his protector. Moments later, Henri is abducted, compelling John to go to a specific location to rescue him. Accompanied by Sam, they journey to the designated spot. Upon arrival, John instructs Sam to tail a man while he covertly enters the house. Inside, he comes across numerous newspaper articles about missing persons and eventually locates Henri, who is incapacitated. The abductors are revealed to be two conspiracy theorists sent by the Mogs. A Mog bursts through the door, initiating an attack. As John and Sam make their escape, Henri confronts the alien. Sam misplaces the car key, prompting John to utilize his power to start the vehicle. Yet, just before their departure, the extraterrestrial appears and thrusts a blade into Henri's chest. As they speed away, Henri hands John a distinctive knife and tracker, disclosing that Sam's father utilized the rock to seek out surviving children of Lauren. Henri instructs John to locate his own kind before his demise, emphasizing that their combined powers could thwart the Mogs. Failing to apprehend John, the aliens reach the residence of the conspiracy theorists and execute them using a lethal device for their failure. Meanwhile, local sheriffs invade John's home, labeling him as a terrorist. Sarah becomes suspicious and questions her boyfriend about his true identity. While on the road, Sam admits that he possesses another fragment of the rock discovered by his father during the search for aliens in Mexico. As Sam searches for Bernie, who aids him in locating the rock hidden away, John makes a stop at Sarah's house to clarify matters and bid farewell. The police, however, show up at the residence, trapping John and Sarah on the roof. As Sarah rises, she accidentally falls off the roof. Thankfully, John utilizes his telekinesis power to rescue her. He showcases his abilities again when compelled to employ telekinesis to elevate a police car, facilitating their escape from law enforcement. The duo manages to evade the police and heads to school. Meanwhile, the Mogs arrive in a convoy of trucks, confronting Mark and his father. The commander menacingly instructs Mark to lead them to John. Sam informs his friend that the Mogs have encircled the school. Attempting to flee, Number 6, also known as Jane, appears wielding her unique weapon, aiding them in battling the aliens. A skirmish ensues, and Jane utilizes her agility to eliminate 2 aliens. The Mogs release their flying lizards, and Bernie unexpectedly transforms into a fearsome monster, startling Sam. Eventually, the two are reunited, but the monstrous entity emerges, causing chaos inside the school. An untamed Bernie materializes, assisting John in combating the monster. They successfully defeat the flying lizard after a prolonged struggle, but Bernie appears to be severely injured, ultimately reverting to his gentle canine form. Struggling, Jane implores John to charge her with his light, and together they battle the Mog, eventually overcoming it. John, Jane, and Sam dash to the soccer field, where the commander and another monster await. Leveraging their combined skills, Jane and John swiftly dispatch all the guards and nearly vanquish the commander. However, the monster captures Jane, and John aids her using the lamp. In the end, Number 4 eliminates the commander in a massive explosion. Both survive the blast due to Jane's fireproof abilities. The subsequent day, they successfully connect the blue rocks and locate Lauren's remaining children. Mark unexpectedly shows up, handing John Henri's peculiar box. Sam joins the team, and John shares a final kiss with Sarah. An injured Bernie makes a sudden appearance, and they all flee the town. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching and see you again soon. Take care.